Hello, I'm reading Evie, and I have finished The Girl in the Ice by Robert Bryndza? I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Um, First though, I want to show this off. So I got my diploma. Yeah. I didn't think I'd ever get that, but I don't know where to put it now. But I did. Yay. Alright. So I am going to obviously talk about what I thought about this book. So this was about obviously a girl in the ice. This was set in London, so there were some things like I didn't really understand because of it. But a boy discovers, the girl in the ice, and then Detective Erika Foster is called in to lead the murder investigation. Now, she just lost her husband, I think like 6 months prior. They're both cops, and I don't really remember what happened, but he was, I think, killed on duty. I'm pretty sure he was a cop. But, anyways, she, I guess, moves to London or something. It's kind of confusing. This was like the first book, though, and I don't know if it was his first that he wrote. No, okay. So, it's the first of the Detective Erika Foster series. So, it looks like the author is used to rom-com novels. Anyways, though, but I don't know what happened. So she's from Slovakia. Apparently that's where the author's from too, or lives. Where was I going with that? But anyway, she comes and works on this case to find out who murdered Andrea, I guess is her name, Andrea. Andrea. I don't know how to pronounce it, but comes to find Andrea Douglas. I forgot her full name. I don't think it says it though. Oh well. It's like her father is like a lord or something. So it's a what do they call it? I don't know. But it's like in a very important case to them. Anyways, so Lee Kinney, who is the person who finds Andrea, is out walking, and this is like the only time we ever hear from him. And he ended up falling in the ice with her. So it was just kind of gross to read about, because it was just, she's been there for like a couple of days too. But yeah, I just thought that was gross. Then I wrote, Erika doesn't take shit so far, and I like it. And she really doesn't. Like, I want to say she, like, it's kind of like she has an attitude, but I don't know, she just doesn't really take anybody's shit. Oh. Erika was going through her Facebook profile post, and it made me think of cops going through mine. Then I wrote, oof. Because all I share are memes. And with what's been going on lately, they're not good against the cops. But I shared the memes anyways. Oops. But, yeah. Oh. Giles, or Giles, I don't know. Giles. Andrea had a fiance, who she was cheating on. I don't really know why she was even engaged. I guess for like money, or not money, because she doesn't even need money. Yeah, well, I guess more money. But I wrote is very judgy about anal sex, it would seem. I wrote a page number. Oh. So the cops are telling him that she cheated on him, and because they found semen, I guess, and so she was asking if it was from him, because the fiance, and he was like, if we took part in an unnatural act, no, I wouldn't marry a girl who dot dot dot. And then he kicks them out of his office. But I was just like, what a weird reason not to marry somebody. But anyways, I get the feeling Linda isn't sad about Andrea's death, whether or not she did it. Which obviously at the time I didn't know who the killer was. And I don't have any more notes about her, so she's not the killer. But I kind of wondered if she was, because throughout the book she seems a little unhinged, and I mean she was regardless, but it wasn't her. The real killer was trying to use her as the fall guy, though, because of it. But yeah, she always kind of seemed like she was just glad she was dead. Oh, and sorry, Linda was her sister, Andrea's sister. I don't know if I even mentioned that. So Andrea has a sister, Linda, and a brother, David. And like the rest of the family, they all live together, even though they're adults. Which I guess, if you're that rich and you live in a mansion, why move out? But or I don't know if Linda actually lived there since she was engaged, or not Linda, Andrea. But throughout the book, like, we see that Linda was jealous of Andrea because Andrea got a lot of male attention, whereas Linda is always described as being just ugly and whatnot, and just not really attractive at all. But yeah. And the mom, dad, brother are over there grieving for the sister, and she's just like, meh. Or sister and daughter. But anyways, the killer is watching Erika in her apartment. So we had some like chapters. They're very short chapters. Like, this book had 83 chapters, but it was only like about 400 pages. It was like 390 something, I want to say. Oh, not even 390. There's an excerpt from like the next book. I was trying to see. It's like 380. Oh, there it is. 387. But yeah, it has 83 chapters plus the epilogue, which I usually count those as chapters, so 84. Anyways, and like some of the pages or chapters would be one page. But either way, we would get some in the killer's views. Like, they were just watching Erika just right outside of her apartment. And I was just like, that's so creepy. But even creepier, the killer was like right behind her and walked past her on a crowded street and even managed to slip an envelope in her pocket. And I don't remember what the note had said. I guess I should have wrote a page number down, but I think it was talking. I think it was like a threat, basically. They threatened her. and bragged about the other kills that they had. I don't remember. But either way, I just thought that was so creepy. Like, they were just walking, like, I don't even know if it was directly behind her, but there was, like, maybe one person in between them. Okay, so I wrote they killed Ivy Norris, so Erika was on the right path. So Ivy Norris was, like, the town's prostitute, like, the oldest one. She had 2 grandkids, so that's how old she was. Uh, and, like, nobody really took her seriously, because, prostitute. Uh, but she always, I guess, lied anyways. Um, and we meet her. So, like I said, Erika moved into town, and so she had her suitcase in the uh, police station. Um, she had told somebody to put it like in the back of the car, but they had back problems, so they just left it by her desk. And so she walks into like where the desks are, and this kid is on her suitcase. And then there's another kid doing whatever, and then there's Ivy Norris sitting on the other guy's. I don't think it was Peterson. I don't remember who it was, but they were sitting on his desk, or she was, and like using the phone, trying to make a phone call, and then uh, the little kid like ended up biting Erika because, well, like she was trying to get him off her suitcase, obviously, and so she like bit him, and so then she slapped him, and then, or he bit her and she slapped him, and but anyways, she ended up giving her a ride later on that night, because she saw them walking a little bit afterwards, and they get to talking about the case, kind of. Well, she starts asking Ivy questions, and we see her like kind of throughout the book, the first half or whatever, and it's always usually Erika trying to ask her, and Ivy, I like mentioned this one pub. It was the Gold Pot or something. I forgot to write it down. It kept being mentioned, but I want to say it was like the Gold Pot. Anyways, and then Erika finds out that I think Ivy had seen Andrea the night she was murdered. Yeah, the night she was murdered, but she saw her like at the pub. And she couldn't figure out. Oh, hey, Dottie. She couldn't figure out like who she saw. But anyways, she kept trying to question Ivy, and like everyone kept telling Erika at the police station, not to take Ivy seriously. And then, and I had wondered if I figured Ivy was telling the truth, anyways, just because we saw how she reacted, whereas like the other people telling Erika, didn't see it. But anyways, so the killer killed Ivy Norris. So I was like, yeah, Erika is definitely on the right path then, because why else would she be killed, So, but anyways. Then I wrote I like Isaac Strong. So he was, I think, the medical examiner. Or I thought he was standing up for her, which kind of was, but just not for the reason that I thought. But there was... That was Sparks. I think that's who couldn't lift her suitcase. So Sparks is... I think this was at Ivy's. Yeah. So they found Ivy's body, and they were at the scene. And granted, it's like raining hard, and so they're in like a little tent to preserve the body or some crap. I don't even know. But anyways, So Sparks is saying, oh, so Erika obviously responded, and Sparks is there. She's asking what he's doing there. He's been asked by Chief Superintendent Marsh to take over as senior investigating officer. And she was like, wait, what? At like 11 p.m. at the scene of the murder. And he said, you should answer your phone. The super has been trying to call you. She was just like, I haven't finished here, so you can, or she can discuss it later. And he was like, I have clear instructions. I have been made SIO and would like you to leave the scene. She's like, you'd like me to leave? He's like, no, I'm ordering you to leave. DCI Sparks, I've just been to the crime scene and there are things, started Erika. I said I'm in control of this crime scene and I'm ordering you to step aside, shouted Sparks, losing it. Which, he was kind of an ass anyways during the whole book. Then Isaac comes in. I think you'll find, if you have any knowledge of crime scene procedure, that the forensic pathologist has ultimate control over the crime scene. So that's who he is, the forensic pathologist. And therefore it gives the orders. DCI Foster has entered the crime scene as SIO, and I will finish my briefing and examination of the crime scene with her present as SIO. Now, Sparks, you are in danger of contaminating the crime scene. If you wish to continue to observe, I'll ask that you follow proper procedure, suit up, and shut up. But, basically just kind of putting him in his place. My phone has locked. There we go. Back to my notes. And later on, Erika gets suspended because nobody likes where she, goes with the case, like Ivy Norris. Excuse me. And later, like, they have a talk, Isaac and Erika. I have an email. Go away. Anyways, and like, he's very nice. We actually didn't hear from him again after that. After their talk, because he even like gave her. We find out there's 3 other women who was murdered, in similar ways to Andrea, but they were prostitutes, so nobody really made the connection or even cared. So he lets her know, even though she was only there as kind of a civilian, I guess. So I liked him, and that kind of like really helped further along the case too. He obviously was just like, it didn't come from me, but here you go. So there was a comment. I'll just read it. I went like almost directly to the page. That was so cool. I read like page 217 and I opened it up to page 218. 19. So they're going and they found Andrea has a second phone and they're trying to find the phone. It's, I guess, in the sewers. Because I think it was with her. No, it wasn't with her. I don't know. But either way, somehow the phone ended up in like the sewers and all that crap. And so these men are down there, or fixing to be down there, and they're getting ready to suit up and go down there and find this phone. I just realized how I can't even see my face. Oh well. We're checking for poisonous gas. They said it's not just shit and piss we have to worry about down there. There's carbonic acid, which miners used to call choke damp, carburetted hydrogen, which explodes, and sulfurated hydrogen. Okay, I'm not a science person, okay? I don't know how to say these words. obviously hydrogen, I know. But anyways, the product of putrid decomposition. You've all got your chemical detectors in your suits, lads. They all nodded. Detective Moss, who I liked in the book, just made like an offhanded comment like, geez, wouldn't you all rather work in a supermarket? Asked Moss. One of the guys was like, this pays better. Anyway, so they're down there. Here it is. It was on the same page. So while they're down there, Moss, the detectives or whatever, Moss, Erika, and then there's a Peterson. They were all up there waiting. And technically, this is when Erika was still suspended, so she was still a civilian. But Moss and Peterson, they get a call. There was an incident at a supermarket. A man had pulled a gun and shots had been fired. So I just thought it was ironic that she made that comment, wouldn't you rather work at a supermarket? And then that comes in, and I'm it was just funny. It was even mentioned later, about they went to court or something, because she just mentioned Moss and Peterson were somewhere about the supermarket incident. I just thought it was funny, because it was a couple of paragraphs later while they were waiting. Earlier I said Ivy had seen Andrea at, I want to say it's the Gold Pot pub. But anyways, she was also seen with a dark-haired man and I think a blonde girl or something like that. Dogs are barking at something. Anyways, dark-haired man, blonde girl. We hear more about this dark-haired man, George Mitchell. Yeah, George Mitchell. And they have photos. They found photos of them two together, sexually, and I think it was describing the images, and the description was used for him as having a powerful chest, and I was just like, what does that even mean? I don't know what a powerful, can't even say it, powerful chest even is. I think it even said that was hairy too. I just thought it was weird, a weird description. Of course, this book is written by a man, so maybe that's what it is, powerful chest. Or maybe it's something I just don't know about. I don't know. Like I said, it was a different country. But not really a different time. I think it was only 2014. I didn't know Cora was down here. Anyways. So the blonde girl, I think that's how she was described. Dark-haired man and then a blonde girl. We find out, I think, that was Barbara Kardosheva, I think was her last name. But we find out about her when Erika was going through Andrea's Facebook profile post, and we find her as Barbara, and then I guess Andrea had dropped her for no reason, and we don't know anything about her, and then all of a sudden Erika gets a call, so they have a press conference, a second press conference, where they're being more real about the case. I guess not. Okay. There it goes. Excuse me. Because they held a first press conference. That was actually the night that the killer had slipped the envelope in her pocket. She was walking out after the press conference. They had a second press conference, which was more real and got more results, kind of. Well, it got one result. Barbara had called and said that she wouldn't talk over the phone, but they could meet her because they tried to get her to the station. She said no. She would meet her somewhere. So they go out and they meet her. I think it's like a 2-hour drive. I don't even know. But they said like Norfolk, I think. Norfolk? I don't know. But anyways. So they go out there. She tells Erika and Moss some weird story. I wish I wrote like a page number to tell the story. Basically, how her, and we find out George Mitchell, the dark-haired man, his real name is Igor. I don't know. I don't remember his last name. I also just didn't know how to pronounce it. But we find out he's actually Igor. They had a relationship. Igor killed some woman, and that case got dismissed. We don't know why. Like, nobody had ever heard of this stuff, and like, they finally found the court case, and like, oh, that wasn't a part of her story, so never mind. Anyways, but she has the story, and then she goes into witness protection. I don't remember the story. It was like weird. But anyways, she says she has to go to the bathroom. She even said like she recorded the call. Here's the phone. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Do that. And they're out there talking, and something's about to happen. I thought she would run away, and that the story would end up being like fake or whatever. No, she ends up killing herself, like hanging herself out there, because this was like in the woods, or not really the woods, but like a park, or I don't even know. It was, maybe if I lived in the area I would know what it was, but I didn't know. There's like a picnic areas, and then there's walking trails. It's kind of like an outdoorsy area. I should have turned on the hall light. Sorry, it's a little creepy out there. Doesn't help that I'm talking about this book. Anyways. But yeah, she ends up killing herself. And like, for a second I was like, did she really like just kill herself? Like, no, I don't know. Sorry, no, it's the fan. I thought I heard something, but it was just the fan. These like headphones really canceled out a lot of that noise, but it was like slipping in. I was like, what the fuck? Anyways, but yeah, so she just like randomly like killed herself right then and there, and we were like, what the fuck? But yeah, I don't know. So after that, they bring in the whole family again, including, what's his name? Giles? I don't know. The fiance and Igor too this time. They bring them all in for questioning. Except for, like, they made like an early morning arrest at the Douglas's house. Simon, what is his real? They had like 2 different last names, but I don't remember that name, the other name. But anyways, they make an early arrest at their place, and then so they were interviewing Igor, and for a second, like, I thought he was gonna punch her, or no, I thought she was gonna punch him. Sorry, the Erika. So like I said, she lost her husband, and like, he mentioned her last name Foster, and they were talking about having different names because he was going as George Mitchell for a little bit there, and so he was like, was not against the law or something like that, And so he mentioned her last name, and he was like, "You're from," see how to pronounce that again, Slovakia, right? And your last name is Foster. And she said it was her married name. And he was just like, "How'd that work out?" And I was just like, "Ooh, you're about to get punched." She like walked out, um, ended up walking out because she was pissed, obviously. And for a second, like, I thought he was the killer because when we had like gotten into the killer's eyes, or chapter's view, uh, the killer knew about Erika's dead husband. But I think they all knew because it ended up in like the papers after the first press conference where it went wrong because she had basically like hijacked it. No, I say hijacked, but she had like a different theory, which ended up like she didn't know like it was. I don't remember. It was basically had to do with Ivy Norris, but they all wanted it to be this other guy who was obsessed with Andrea, and apparently didn't have an alibi, which later ended up being wrong. He had an alibi. I wish Marco Frost, yeah, Marco Frost. So they were like, "We found the killer," and all that crap. And so I don't know where I thought I was going with that, but anyways, yeah, I thought she was gonna punch him. Oh, Erika mentioned the Hunger Games. I wrote a page number 2. 342. 342. That's page. So Erika and Marsh are having a talk. Marsh is her boss, and every time they have like a meeting, she's usually sarcastic with him anyways. And oh, well, he was like, "Look, Erika, you're a brilliant officer." She's like, "Sir, you always say that right before you tell me not to do something." He's like, "I say it because it's true. Also because I can see how this is going to end. You're going up against powerful people here, and the odds are not in your favor. Sounds very Hunger Games." He's like, "Look," but I just thought it was funny because I wasn't sure when this book was written. I think I looked it up before reading it, but I'd forgotten. I think it was 2014, but I'm not sure. But I just thought that was funny. Excuse me. So during their first rounds of interview, they go to interview Linda, and she had talked about loving cats, and we all know she's like a really big cat lady, but she doesn't have a cat. And she had admitted to having a cat, but didn't say what had happened to it. Like it died, but she didn't mention. But anyways, like it plays in Erika's mind later that night, like after it happened, and they're all still in holding because they held them for 24 hours. But they decided to get her talking about cats and seeing where that would lead. Well, it worked because she ended up confessing that David, her brother, killed the cat and the 3 women and their sister. So David was the killer. Yay. Well, not yay, but yeah, I didn't expect it to be David. I was kind of surprised. I guess I shouldn't have been, but I really thought, like, I figured it would be either Giles, or I don't know, however you say his name, the fiance, Linda, uh, Igor. I can't remember who else I thought might have killed her. Um, but yeah, so I was kind of surprised. Because every time we meet him, like he seems normal, like the grieving, like he is described as just a partier and normal like rich kid, like rich young man or boy or whatever. Um, like he gets the attention of women, just like Andrea got the attention of men, and so they're kind of alike. And but yeah, like I was kind of surprised. Um, I guess not really surprised that he ended up being a killer. Um, because since the other three were prostitutes, I can see how he thought he was better and all that crap. But I was just kind of surprised that he killed Andrea. Um, but I guess Andrea was going to tell the cops that what he did, and Simon, the dad, knew about it and hid it, covered it up. That's what I was trying to think. Uh, but yeah, so yeah, I don't know if the mom knew. She probably did. We did like she wasn't really mentioned um, during those parts. Um, but yeah, and David ended up trying to kill Erika twice actually. He ends up getting her into her apartment before we find out who it is, and then ends up like beating her up pretty badly. And was going to kill her before Moss knocked on the door, luckily. Um, and then hearing like some commotion, and it was like late at night even, so like in the like midnight, like after midnight I think. Anyways, but luckily Moss kicks down the door. Is it Moss? Yeah, it was Moss. Kicks down the door and saves her because that scared him off. Before we knew it was David, obviously. And then after we find out it's David, he kidnaps her. Well, not really kidnaps her. She was in their house, going through Linda's room, and then she ended up. There was like photos of the cat, Boots. Uh, excuse me. There was photos of Boots, and she like put them all together, and she saw that there was like a person in each missing in each photo, and that was David. And so she ends up going to his room, and pretty much finding out while we get inside, like, because it's not really just in Erika's head. The book, it mainly is Erika, but every now and then it kind of switched just for like a paragraph. So we had already known it was David, because Peterson and Moss is interviewing Linda while Erika goes to their house. But yeah, so, and like I said, David was on vacation. I don't know if I did say it, but during the morning arrest of like the family, he was supposed to be out of the country. And I don't. I think he was ended up changing his mind or something, or maybe that was just the cover story. But he ends up still being there and kidnaps Erika, and she just about drowns, but she's saved because they figured out it's David. They figured out and they knew she was there because luckily she called and told somebody. But yeah, so this was a fun book to read. I really liked it. Like I would always try to read it. Like there was even times where I got my phone flashlight and would read it in bed, because our light doesn't work in there right now, and I didn't have a lamp. Like, I have a living room lamp, but I didn't feel like putting it in the bedroom at that time. So I just took my flashlight in there. Uh, but anyways, and I would try to read it all the time because I wanted to know who the killer was. And it was interesting. And I was surprised, which I'm terrible at mysteries, finding out who did it, except for in movies sometimes. So the next book is going to be found. This is The Other World, House of Night, and I have done a video on the first 3 books, and the 4th one finally came out July 7th, and I got this the other day, and had decided to read it after that book. But yeah, so I'm going to start this, and hopefully have a review out soon. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment. Maybe somebody out there's read the book. If you have, let me know what you thought about it, if you guessed the killer. But yeah.